Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Millennial Homesteader. I am Audrey, and I'm going to be showing you how I start my winter vegetables. I honestly think growing vegetables is really easy, and a lot of people try to complicate it. Sometimes you just have to put in the seed, water it, and see if it grows. We have had to experiment quite a bit. This is my fourth winter growing vegetables on this homestead, so I'm super excited to see how this winter garden is going to look like, and I can't wait to share it with you. So let's go and get started. First, this is the area where I want to do the market garden in spring, and I'm going to be growing my winter garden on the side. We used to have a shed here, and now we've removed it because it fell in. So now it's just open. So I'm hoping that I'm not going to have wild animals come and eat my vegetables. So these are the beds that I made about 2 to 3 weeks ago, and it rained a lot. So I know that they're a bit compact. So the first things I'm going to do is to actually loosen up the soil in those beds, and then I will put in the seedlings. But to loosen my soil, I'm going to be using this broad fork that was gifted to us by Get Dirty. They are a South African company that makes gardening tools that make it easy for you to use in your garden if you don't want to disturb the soil so much. This tool is called a broad fork because it's quite nice and broad, and I don't really need to go back and redo some of the parts. So you basically just dig it in, move it up, and then it lifts the soil quite nicely. And then now I won't need to use any other tools when I'm putting in my seedlings. I will now just be using my hands to make the holes for the seedlings. It's also nice and broad and covers the length, or is it the width? Yes, the width of my bed. So I don't really have to worry too much about redoing this. It also gives you a good workout. After this, I don't need to go to the gym. Can you see how it lifts the soil? Nicely done. Okay, so this is the last bed I am doing, and this really felt like a real workout. It's not that heavy, to be honest. I think the effort you put in is the one that is tiring. But then again, this is the advantage of homesteading a little bit younger. You still have energy to do this stuff. I've seen lots of people homesteading that are a little bit older, but let me know in the comments if you are over 50 and you are having to do this, homesteading in general. Do you find it hard or easy? Do you wish you had started it a little bit younger? Yeah, let us know. I think it's an interesting conversation, the energy conversation. Should you be doing this when you're like in your 20s, 30s, and in your 40s and 50s, 60s, or 70s, you're kind of resting and just enjoying your life? Or can you really start it anytime? Also, please go support Get Dirty and buy their tools. They have very interesting stuff on their website. Check out their pages, please, and buy local. I think it's really important to support businesses that are really trying to bring us all the things that we envy from overseas, and we get to get them here. in South Africa. So please go support, it's absolutely worth it. Okay, so these are the different vegetables that I'm going to be starting right now. I've got kales, broccoli, cauliflower, bok choy, and all the other varieties. I'm also going to be doing a lot of succession planting. Every 2 weeks, I'm going to be adding new seedlings and different types of vegetables so that I am able to harvest a lot more this season. The other day, I went to the shops trying to buy a fresh head of broccoli, and it was 40 rands. So I went back home and cooked my frozen broccoli from last season. And someone in Joburg actually sent me a picture of cauliflower that was 70 rands for a head. Cauliflower, you guys, like, if you have space, please grow your own vegetables. It only becomes cheaper to grow your own vegetables if you actually preserve a lot of those vegetables, because now you don't have to buy them when they are not in season. So you have to learn to preserve, and the easiest way to preserve this type of vegetables is by freezing them. A lot of people buy frozen vegetables anyway, so you might as well just freeze your own vegetables. Okay, so when growing organic vegetables, you want to try and emulate what nature does. Nature has a tree, and then under the tree, there is clover, which is a nitrogen fixator. There's also a flower, which is bringing in the bees. There's also mulch from the leaves and the tree bark. So nature does these things so that it can protect the different types of species that are inside the forest, right? So we want to make sure that we do that as well when we are growing our organic vegetables. So if you are ever in doubt when you're growing your vegetables and you don't know what to do, there are 3 things that you just have to remember. You should have a main vegetable, you should have an herb, and you should have a flower. So for example, this is cauliflower. So this is my main vegetable. I am going to grow it next to, say, celery. Celery is going to be my herb, right? Or you can try other herbs that you like. And then next to that, I'm going to add a flower, which is my nasturtium. So the nasturtium is going to act as a sacrificial plant, so that when pests are trying to attack my my cauliflower, I will be able to see it through the leaves of the nasturtium. Nasturtiums are also edible, so your whole garden has to be edible anyway. But then the vegetables next to each other, they need to benefit from each other. But the main one that you're trying to protect is your main vegetable, which is cauliflower in this case. Another thing that you could also add is, say, like most of these greens, they love nitrogen. So you can grow different nitrogen fixators in your garden. So I am going to be adding some peas next to my cauliflower, because I want these peas to just feed, because this is quite, I think it is a heavy feeder. It's considered a heavy feeder. So it's going to feed from the nitrogen that is going to be provided by the peas. So I hope you understand, like, it kind of makes sense. So if you are ever in doubt and you're trying to create an organic garden, have your main vegetable, have an herb, and have a flower. The flower is going to help as a sacrificial plant. It's also going to help bring beneficial insects, which are going to help deter the pests that could be attacking your main vegetable. Also have an herb. The herbs are usually just going to emit certain smells that are also going to deter any pests that try to attack your vegetable. Or you can also add a nice a plant that's going to help with, adding nutrients into the soil to benefit your main vegetable. So that's how I'm going to be adding the vegetables into my garden. Another thing that I'm going to be considering as well, you see this tree up here provides a lot of shade in the afternoons, and this side of the garden is not going to have shade. So I'm going to put vegetables that do not mind afternoon sun. Even though it's winter, we still get sun that is a little bit harsh in the mid-afternoons, late afternoons. So that whole area I'm going to put in some cabbages, some carrots, some beetroot and all the other stuff. And then on this side I'm going to be putting my kales, my bok choy, also cauliflower, because when it's now opening I don't want it to be exposed to a lot of sun. So yeah, that's how I'm going to do it. This side is going to be like your delicate vegetables, kales, lettuces, bok choy and all the other stuff, because in the afternoon there's a lot of shade in this area. I think these 3 beds are going to have nice shade, and then the beds on this other end are not going to have shade in the afternoons, so the cabbages and the broccolis are going to do fine on the other end. So my beds have already been set up. I've already added mulch because I just find it easier to put in seedlings when it's already mulched than to mulch when my seedlings are here. Another thing that I did that is so important for me, because sometimes I really forget to fertilize as much, I always add in a general fertilizer. This is the general fertilizer that I usually use in my garden. So I've already added this. I sprinkled this general fertilizer. I also added bone meal into these beds before adding the mulch. So they're already prepped, and now I'm just going to start planting my vegetables. In terms of spacing, I don't think it's something you should worry about so much if you want an organic garden, unless you growing for commercial purposes and you are going to be using a drip system to water your garden. I'm going to be watering with little sprinklers, so I'm not going to need a drip system. And also I'm going to have vegetables everywhere, because I also want to cover the ground a lot. I want to make sure there are no spaces, so that I don't get a lot of weeds. We still get a lot of weeds here, so I need to make sure that the garden is really, like the beds are really full, so that there is no space or sunlight for the weeds to thrive. Okay, the other thing that I do is I try to understand how big the vegetables are going to grow. So if it's cabbages, for example, I'm going to leave a lot of space between the cabbages. But then in between that space between the cabbages, I'm going to add some other vegetables. So I will probably add like your beetroot and your carrots in between, because there's space there. The cabbages will still be able to grow really big, but then the vegetables that are in between are still going to grow as well, without disturbing the cabbages from growing to their fullest size. So I'm also now just adding my nasturtium here. Nasturtiums do not really need to have super fertile soil. They actually do well in soil that is not fertile. The last time I added them into compost, they didn't do so well. So yeah, that's just something to think about. I am also adding some peas on here. I'm hoping that most of these are not going to be climbing peas, because I don't really remember. It's just mixed peas. I don't think they're climbing, but we will see, you guys. If they do end up climbing, I'll just add a little trellis for them, and then I don't have to worry so much. So let's add the peas in the middle, and then the cauliflower will be growing on the outside. This is a nitrogen fixator, so I know that it's really going to help my cauliflower do well. Okay, let's add some more nasturtiums. Okay, so in this bed I've added cauliflower, green peas, and some nasturtiums. I added about 5 nasturtiums because they grow really big, so I would have to come in and then just start removing and trimming them. They can take over everything. But then cauliflower grows up to like this height, so I don't really have to worry because the nasturtiums are going to grow onto the ground. So, well, yeah. So there's only green peas, nasturtium, and cauliflower in this bed. On to the next one. So in this bed, I'm going to be adding some cabbages, some beetroot, some marigold seeds, and I'm also going to add some bok choy because I think the cabbage is going to give them a little bit of shade. We'll see how it goes. I thought it would be easier to just make the holes so that when I come in with the seedling, it's just easier. My soil is very nice and soft because I've already loosened it, remember, with the broad fork. So that's really helpful. Also, I know some people are scared to walk or be on top of the beds. I don't worry about that because I don't know. I don't see any real impact that it has on my garden. So you can do whatever you want. You can walk on them. Nothing will happen. So I've decided to add some radish next to the cabbages. So this bed is going to have cabbage, broccoli, and radish. I've also added some nasturtiums here, and what else? Yeah, that's all. Okay, that's a lot. That's a lot. Okay, I'm just going to put the radish next to the cabbages. Hopefully they come out. Just fill up the beds so that there's no space for weeds to come in and grow. That's really important. A lot of the times your beds are full of weeds because there's just too much open space. The weeds think that they have places to live and they shouldn't, especially in your garden. Sometimes the little seedlings that are in your seedling bag are just not going to work. Like those ones, I'm not going to bother. Okay, I'm just going to put them in to see if they're going to make it. But if they don't, it's also okay. I'm not counting on them to do anything. The roots are just not that great. See, these are not great. So, zero expectations, but let's just do it anyway. These seedlings already have aphids. Look, I love gardening in winter, but all those brassicas are prone to aphids, you guys. And right now, I do not even have any seedlings of marigolds, but I'm going to try and cut out some of the marigolds in the garden up there and then come and transplant them in here. Essentially, I'm going to be propagating them. Then I'm going to add them here so that I already have a flower that's going to deter a lot of those things. Because if I plant them here, wait for the seeds, the seeds to sprout and become a full flower, I'm going to lose all my vegetables. So I have to make a plan already. I am done planting more than 100 seedlings and the sun has come out. As you can see, this side is actually still sunny. Let me show you on this side. You see there's already shade on here and it's around 11-ish. So the shade is actually going to grow. I'm now a bit worried because in that first bed, remember I added cauliflower, but also I ended up putting in Chinese cabbage because the shade would be good for it. But now with the cauliflower, it actually likes sun, but now the shade is here a little too early. So we'll see how they grow in them. So yeah, this is it. I have planted on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5 beds. You can see the amount of vegetables that you can actually plant in a small space. There is more than 100 vegetables here, and if they all grow and become amazing, we are going to have a lot of food. I've got 20 cauliflower seedlings in there. I've got 20 cabbages here. I've got 20 broccoli and 10 broccolini or so. I've got lots of beetroot, radishes in there. I've got celery. I also added some different types of kales in there. I'm actually going to plant this in a tire somewhere where it's shaded, because I think this area is gonna be too warm, so I might add it somewhere close to these beds here. But then this bok choy here, there is, I don't know what's, I think this is also Chinese, a variant of a Chinese cabbage, but I know these ones don't like sun at all, so I have to find a spot for them. So I'm gonna keep them here for now. Right now I need to water. Please do not plant your seedlings in the morning if the day is going to be super warm. I didn't realize it was going to get warm. It's a little bit overcast, but then it's still warm, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that they don't die. Yeah, they'll probably survive. And hopefully with the watering, I'm gonna water now and then I'm gonna water again in the evening. But right now I'm actually going to water with one of our concoctions, fertilizer. And yeah, okay, so I want to use this dish to dilute the comfrey fertilizer, but then I also have to bring water down here, so it's a lot of things that I need to get done. But let me go show you the concoction right now. So at the moment we have no water source on the side, so we are relying on ourselves to bring water down here. And right now I need to make sure that I am diluting the comfrey fertilizer properly, otherwise it might be too potent for the vegetables. So my son is helping me remove some of the gunk. He adds in everything, all the greens that we don't want in the garden end up in here, but the main ingredient in here is comfrey. Comfrey is incredible for your vegetables. It has almost all the nutrients that your vegetables need. It has potassium, phosphorus, nitrogen. So if you leave it inside water for a couple of days, hours, we leave it in for like weeks, and then we just take some of that and then dilute it somehow. So that's what we are trying to do right now. So I want to make sure that I'm able to dilute this and not end up burning my vegetables. So what's the plan, Masana?
I'm just gonna remove it and put it on some of the beds now.
Okay.
Yeah, and then what will be left is we're gonna have to dilute the rest.
Yeah. So maybe we take that and then we put it inside the bottle here, and then we fertilizer in a 20-liter bottle, take it down there, then take water using this big bucket and then dilute. I think that's a good plan. I'm gonna go get a measuring cup and bring it down here. This stuff smells really bad, you guys. If you do ever try to make this on your own, please keep it outside or somewhere far away from people that could easily vomit. It is so bad. If you've ever bought liquid fertilizer for your garden, not the one from Tabon Organics, like the other ones. I think this one also stunk really bad. This one from Guano Boost, it stunk really bad, and this one is worse. So just remember that when you buy liquid fertilizers or make your own. Oh my gosh. I think okay. was about to say I think I'm gonna vomit, but then I realized, nah, I can't vomit. This is what I need to do. This is the work. I can't run away from it. So no, I'm not going to vomit. I'm just gonna pull through. Okay. Masana said he was going to help me out and then he's going to do the pouring. Then I get to rest because I still need to water the vegetables with it. So it's going to be my saving grace today. You got it? Great.
That's a small one, not the big one.
Oh no. We live here now.
It is what it is.
I've not touched it yet, so that's good. Yo! Dude,
Thank you.
that's bad, bro. Yeah, this is not the best funnel, but I think it's gonna have a bigger surface area for sure. It's much better. See, my son is wearing gloves because yeah, once it's on your hands, it's bad. You still okay?
That's bad.
But it's the good stuff.
It is the good stuff.
Then we don't really have to buy fertilizers anymore because we can make fertilizers on our own. Another thing is try to sift it as much as possible if you add a lot of different greens and grasses, because if you leave them like now, we recently added more weeds, yes, and some flowers and whatnot, and I can still see the seeds in there, so they're probably gonna grow. At least it was lots of flowers, so it will be fine. But if you put in weeds, different types of weeds, your lawn, your grass, then sift it if you can, so that you don't end up growing more weeds in your garden. Okay, so this bottle is for Babe. Please remove that label. It's no longer from Guano Post. This is from Millennial Homesteader now. Okay, so we have now filled that bottle and we are left with about, I don't know, that looks like a 10 liter. So we are going to fill up water here, go pour it in the dish on the other side, then fill up more water here and then dilute again. That's the best way for us to do it right now. So let me get some water.
We need the pipe, ne?
Yeah, the pipe is here.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're good.
We're going to pour it. Guys, this is a lot. We're going to pour it in here and then get more water.
Yeah.
This is a lot.
We should have maybe reduced some of it.
You don't
before
think
we
we can lift it?
No, we can first.
Okay, wait.
Yeah.
Wait, let's
Yeah, let's
pull
hit
it.
Yeah.
This is too strong.
So I think maybe, no, there's no maybe.
Okay, now we can lift it.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah.
One underneath.
So
Okay,
this
there's
is
a lot
soil.
of. Oh, there, that's soil
I
in
think
there.
this is soil.
That would have been great in the compost bin.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to select some things there.
This is gonna be compost bin.
Okay, let's go add water in there, then I'll be taking some and putting in there. Ne?
Is there a bed you don't expect to put anything for now?
Ah, yeah, the ones up there. I think that's where we should have put this.
Yeah, this is actually exactly
But
where.
it's okay.
No one's touching it now.
No one. Okay, so we've brought in the water. Ideally, I want to dilute 1:10. So this is a 70 liter. So I'm going to put 7 liters in here. And then we filled it up too much. Okay, so now,
I need to get you a stick.
yeah, I've got some here. There's some here.
No, a long one.
So I don't know if you can see the color from here. I'm gonna bring it closer. This is the color right now, the one that is diluted. And this is the color of the one that we diluted a little bit earlier. So the one we have in the bottle is actually way darker than this. And this smells like cow dung. It shows that cows really eat grass. That's the stick you wanted to use?
Yep. There you go.
Guys, can you see Masada's stick? Like how long this is? How long is this? 6 meters? No. 4.2, ne?
Yeah, almost
Yeah.
around there.
Okay, so I've mixed this up and now I'm just hoping that we have diluted it enough. Otherwise, it can be too potent and burn your vegetables. The other thing is, once you make a green fertilizer yourself, you can always just check how your vegetables are doing and then adjust the potency. So for now, I am going to use this to water. This is the first time I'm watering these seedlings after putting them in. And then every 7 days, I'm going to be using the same concoction to water here. Then after like a month, I'll probably use a store-bought fertilizer because maybe I don't trust in myself that much. Okay, so I've brought a jerry can and I'm hoping that it's going to make things faster. I could have gotten 2 jerry cans, but then I am so exhausted now. I don't feel like holding 2 16-liter jugs on both hands. I'd rather use that time to just relax. But these beds are mulched, so I'm just watering on the mulch. Then it won't really dig into the soil. It'll just, I think it's gonna be fine. So we are done fertilizing / watering the garden for now, and later on in the evening I'm going to just water with normal water, and then we'll see how the seedlings are going to grow. I am going to give you an update in 1 week so you can see what they're looking like, and as I add more vegetables to this area, I'm also going to be showing you what it's going to look like and what I will be adding. Sure, it was a long morning, but yeah, it's looking great. I'm super excited to see how it turns out. And if you have any questions on growing your vegetables, please let me know. And you can also come and send me a message on Instagram, because I do a lot of gardening content on Instagram, and yeah, we can connect there. Until next time, bye bye.